Something inside you has always known. But now, the time has come. August 7th isn't just a date. It's an activation. It's the moment when everything you've carried in silence begins to awaken in spirit. You've never fit in because you weren't meant to. Your energy has always felt ancient, out of place, ahead of its time. You see through things that others accept blindly. You feel heaviness where others feel nothing. You receive signs no one else seems to notice. That isn't random. That's your spiritual gift whispering, "You were born for this." But for so long, you've questioned it. Why do I feel everything so deeply? Why don't others understand my vision? Why do I carry this knowing that I can't fully explain? Because your gifts weren't meant to be understood by everyone. They were meant to be protected until the right moment. And now, that moment has arrived. This isn't about fame, it's about frequency. This isn't about proving yourself. It's about finally stepping into who you've always been. God is activating the chosen. And the gift inside you is no longer waiting for permission. There's something you've never been able to explain. Since childhood, you've felt things before they happened. You've noticed shifts in the room when no one else did. You've carried a strange sensitivity that people misunderstood, criticized, or tried to silence. But no matter how much the world tried to convince you that you were too much, you knew. Deep down, something in you always whispered, "I'm not like the others." Maybe you never said it out loud. Maybe you were too afraid to admit it, because being different used to feel like a burden. But that silent knowing, that echo within your spirit, it never left you. Because it wasn't your imagination, it was your truth. You were chosen, not for fame, not for comfort, but for a divine purpose that would take years to fully understand. And now your spirit is beginning to recognize that this difference was never a mistake. It was a marking. Do you remember the moments when you tried to ignore it? When you followed the crowd? When you numbed your inner world just to survive the outer one? You felt even more disconnected, more lost, more tired. Because the truth is, the more a chosen one tries to fit in, the more he suffers. You were not designed to blend in. You were designed to stand out without trying. And here's the real reason you've always felt different. Because you came from a different place. Your soul carries ancient codes. You've walked through lifetimes of remembering and forgetting. And this time, you came to awaken. Not just for yourself, but for others too. That's why you've always been the one people confide in. That's why strangers open up to you without knowing why. That's why you sense what's not being said. It's not a personality trait. It's spiritual perception. It's your gift showing through, even when you didn't understand it. But being chosen also means being tested. You've faced rejection that made no sense. You've experienced seasons of isolation that broke you. You've had doors closed that looked perfect. But your spirit knew, this is not where I'm meant to be. That kind of inner conflict is not punishment, it's preparation. God never builds strength in comfort. He builds it in the wilderness. And if you've spent years walking alone, it's because heaven has been shaping someone who won't collapse when the weight of purpose arrives. Do you feel that weight now? That quiet sense that something is shifting, not outside, but inside. That's the gift stirring. That's the knowing returning. That's the spirit calling you back into remembrance of who you've always been. And the moment you stop questioning your design, the moment you stop shrinking your light to fit into dim places, that's when the gift starts to take over. Your words will begin to carry energy. Your presence will begin to shift atmospheres. Your silence will start speaking louder than noise. Because a chosen one doesn't need to announce himself. His frequency does it for him. This is your return to alignment. Not with the version of you they tried to create, but with the soul God always saw. So now, stand in that knowing. Don't ask the world for permission. Don't wait for validation from people who were never meant to understand you. Don't silence your gift because others don't carry it. You've always been different, because you were always meant to lead in a different dimension. This is not the beginning, this is the return. And from this moment on, you will never again call your difference a mistake. Why your gifts were never understood. You've probably asked yourself more than once, why don't they see it? Why do they dismiss what I say, even when I speak with truth? Why do people get uncomfortable when I speak from my spirit? Why do my gifts feel like a threat instead of a blessing to others? The answer is simple, and yet deeply spiritual. They were never meant to understand you. You were sent here carrying light into places still covered in shadow. And when someone hasn't faced their own darkness, your light will feel like exposure. It's not that you're wrong, it's that your presence activates something they're not ready to feel yet. Your gift, whether it's perception, discernment, healing, vision, or silent knowing, wasn't designed for applause. It was designed for assignment. And assignments don't always come with recognition. Sometimes your greatest gift looks invisible to the world, until the moment it's needed. Have you noticed how people run to you when they're falling apart, but disappear once they feel strong again? Have you seen how you're left out of rooms, only to be called back when no one else can see what you see? That's not rejection, it's spiritual positioning. Because when God gives you eyes to see the unseen, ears to hear what others block out, and a heart that moves before logic does, you become a mirror. And not everyone is ready to look into that mirror yet. But here's the truth that will free you. Just because they don't understand you, doesn't mean you're not understood. Heaven sees everything. The gift you carry is not invisible in the spirit. It's radiant, it's protected, it's strategic, and more importantly, it's growing. You might feel like your gifts have been ignored, minimized, or misunderstood. But what if that was divine protection? What if God was hiding you in plain sight, so you wouldn't be used before you were ready? So you wouldn't be placed in positions that demanded from your gift but dishonored your soul? Sometimes hiding is mercy. Sometimes being misunderstood is training. Sometimes the silence around your gift is the space God uses to refine it. And make no mistake, you're being refined. Because your gift has a timestamp, a moment of release. And when that moment comes, no one will be able to deny it anymore. But until then, you must carry it with discipline, not arrogance, not fear, but reverence. Use your discernment even when no one thanks you for it. Pray in silence for people who mock you in public. Follow your inner knowing even when it costs you everything comfortable. Speak truth, even when it's inconvenient. You were not given your gifts to decorate a version of you that pleases others. You were given your gifts to fulfill a spiritual role that only you can carry. So let them misunderstand. Let them doubt. Let them think you're just being too sensitive, too intense, or too serious. Because the time is coming when your gift will no longer be ignored, it will be required. And when that day comes, you'll realize every lonely night, every silent preparation, every confusing rejection, it was all part of the setup, not for applause, but for assignment. And that's the most sacred part of all. You were not sent here to be understood. You were sent here to be used by heaven in ways no one can fully grasp. So stop waiting for the world to catch up to what God already confirmed. Stop begging people to recognize what you were born to carry. And stop shrinking to fit into spaces your soul outgrew a long time ago. Your gift is rare, your calling is holy, and your time is near. There's something sacred about the moments you never expected. You didn't plan for it. You weren't asking for it. You were just living, moving through the day like any other. And then suddenly something shifts. A vision, a word, a sense of knowing, an energy that enters your field and doesn't let you walk the same way again. That's what it feels like when God activates a spiritual gift, without warning. You see, not all awakenings come after prayer. Not every revelation comes in a holy place. And not every calling shows up with a spotlight. Sometimes, God activates you in the middle of silence, in the middle of pain, in the middle of confusion, and He does it not because you were ready, but because it was time. Have you ever felt like something inside of you suddenly turned on? Like your awareness became sharper overnight? Like your intuition went from background noise to undeniable truth? Like the things you used to ignore now speak loudly through your senses? That's activation. And the strange part is, you can't explain it to anyone. You try, but words fail. Because how do you describe a vision no one else saw? How do you talk about hearing something no one else heard? How do you express that you suddenly know things you were never taught? You don't. You just walk with it. And that's how the divine chooses His vessels. Not by resume, not by popularity, not by qualifications the world understands, but by surrender. God will use the ones who are open enough to receive, obedient enough to act, and humble enough to never make it about themselves. You might have thought your time hadn't come yet, but the truth is, it already has. The switch has already flipped, and now you're noticing things you didn't notice before. You're feeling pressure that doesn't make sense. You're waking up with dreams that carry codes. You're sensing danger before it happens. You're being called into solitude, not to hide, but to prepare. This is what happens when a chosen one's gifts are activated. You don't ask for it, but you know it. And here's the test. When God activates you without a warning, will you respond without delay? Because many ignore the first activation. They brush it off. They wait for confirmation. They ask for another sign. And by the time they realize it was the moment, it's already passed. But not you. You're being asked to trust the suddenness, to trust the voice you didn't expect to hear, to move with the instruction you didn't ask for. God doesn't always announce your assignment. Sometimes He just shifts your energy and watches what you do next. Will you obey when no one is watching? Will you prepare even when you feel underqualified? Will you protect what He placed in you, even when the world calls it strange? This is the beauty and weight of spiritual gifting. You don't get to control how it starts, but you do get to choose how you carry it. And when you carry it well, in silence, in reverence, in trust, you unlock another level, a deeper revelation, a wider field. That's what's happening now. You may not have realized it, but your gifts are already activated. And the proof is simple. You've already started seeing through lies. You've already begun moving away from noise. You've already been pulled out of environments that drained you. You've already felt the call to move, even if you didn't know where. You are not who you were even last month. You've been changed, and now you're being trusted. So don't wait for confirmation from people. Don't wait for recognition from the world. Don't wait for understanding from those who were never called to walk beside you. Just move. Just trust. Just carry it. Because when God activates a gift without warning, it's because the moment of use is closer than you think. How to use your gifts even without being seen. You keep wondering if your gifts are enough, if they matter, if they'll ever be seen, acknowledged, or understood. But here's the truth that most chosen ones eventually face. Your gifts were never meant to be validated by the world. They were meant to be used, whether or not anyone claps, praises, or even notices. There's a silence that surrounds the gifted, not because their gifts are small, but because their missions are sacred. You were given what others weren't, and because of that, you'll also feel what others don't. You'll feel called when no one invites you. You'll feel burdened when others laugh. You'll feel responsible for things that aren't your fault, but are your assignment. And still, no one may ever say, "Thank you." But the spiritual world sees, heaven sees, the ones you're helping, even if they never know it, are receiving. Because when a chosen one uses their gift in silence, without applause, without platform, without fame, they're not just acting from power, they're acting from alignment. You've been called to use what you carry in ways that may never be acknowledged by the surface. but they are deeply recognized in the invisible. Maybe your gift is intercession. You feel things in your body before events happen. You weep for people who don't even know you exist. You carry atmospheres on your back and cleanse rooms with your energy, and no one ever sees it. Use it anyway. Maybe your gift is perception. You walk into a place and feel what's hidden. You see the fear behind someone's smile. You detect danger even when everyone else feels safe. And you warn, but they don't listen. Speak it anyway. Maybe your gift is presence. You don't say much, but people feel different when you're around. You bring calm. You bring gravity. You bring a sense of safety that you've never been praised for, but is real and needed. Be there anyway. You don't need a stage to be impactful. You don't need a platform to carry authority. You don't need approval to be chosen. Your obedience will open more doors than ambition ever could. And your consistency will unlock things in the spiritual that no human ever will. This is not about being seen. It's about being used. Because the vessels that God trusts the most are often the ones nobody claps for. That's why you felt hidden. That's why the recognition hasn't come. Because God is training you to move without needing it. If you can use your gift in the shadows, if you can stay faithful when nobody's watching, if you can give your best when no one thanks you, then He knows He can elevate you without losing you. And when that elevation comes, because it will, it won't be because you chased it. It'll be because you carried it. Every invisible act, every quiet prayer, every silent battle, they were seen, they mattered, and they laid the foundation for what's coming. So today, stop waiting to be seen, and start walking like you're already known by the one who sent you, because you are. And when you know who sent you, you don't need anyone else's permission to move. You are the sign. You are the message. You are the light they didn't know they were looking for. So use your gifts, not because they'll reward you, but because you're already trusted to carry them. You think the world hasn't changed because of you, but that's because echoes don't always return to the sender. And your gift, the one you've carried quietly, painfully, faithfully, has already moved more than you know. You were never meant to watch all the seeds grow. You were only meant to plant them with integrity. There are people breathing easier right now because of your presence. There are decisions that shifted because of your energy. There are places that were spiritually cleared just because you entered them with awareness. The enemy would love for you to believe your gift hasn't done anything, that your silence was empty, that your sensitivity is a weakness, that your obedience is wasted. But you wouldn't be under attack if your presence wasn't dangerous. You wouldn't feel so exhausted if your prayers weren't dismantling things. You wouldn't feel so stretched if your frequency wasn't shifting timelines. You wouldn't feel so alone if you weren't so assigned. You were sent to disrupt what others accepted as normal, to shift atmospheres that others tolerate, to heal pain that others avoid, to carry light in places that forgot it existed. And you've been doing it without applause, without medals, without confirmation, but not without impact. The echo of your gift is already moving the world, in every person who left your presence lighter, in every space that feels different because you prayed, in every cycle you broke quietly in your lineage, in every child who will grow up safer because of the decisions you made. This isn't about fame. This is about frequency, and your frequency is divine. It's not loud, but it's deep. It's not dramatic, but it's consistent. It's not perfect, but it's real. And the spiritual world recognizes it. Demons fear it. Angels respond to it. Heaven backs it. So today, even if no one sees you, even if no one thanks you, even if you're tired of always being the strong one, remember this: your gift was never meant to make you feel special. It was meant to make others feel seen by God. And that's exactly what you've done. You've made people feel safe, without needing to be loud. You've brought peace, without needing recognition. You've served the divine, without needing proof that it mattered. And the world is already shifting because of it. The echo of your gift has gone further than your voice, further than your reach, further than you'll ever know. But heaven knows, God knows, and one day you'll look back and realize, you didn't just survive the mission, you became the mission. You didn't just carry the light, you became the light. And the echo you released is still traveling. Even now, even here, even through this very message. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are activated. And the ripple effect of your obedience is already changing lives you may never meet. But it doesn't matter if they ever know your name, because your gift has always been about one thing: carrying God, quietly, powerfully, relentlessly. And you've done it well. The echo of your gift is already rewriting this world. You didn't receive your gifts by accident. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to keep hiding them. There is a reason you've been different since the beginning. You were built for this time. In a world that's getting louder, more distracted, more confused, your clarity is not a coincidence. In a generation that chases applause and avoids stillness, your depth is not a weakness. And in a season where truth is buried under fear, your discernment is not a burden, it's a call. The gifts inside you are not just talents or skills. They are frequencies, assigned to a timeline. They are pieces of God's voice, coded in your soul. And the moment you start using them, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. You don't need to be seen by many. You just need to be aligned with the one who sent you. Because when a chosen one speaks from alignment, the world starts to remember something it forgot. Your ability to feel deeply is a gift. Your sensitivity to energy is a compass. Your ability to see patterns before others is a warning system. Your solitude is sacred training. Your dreams are not just images, they are messages. Your voice carries a vibration meant to wake sleeping hearts. Have you noticed how people open up around you? How children, animals, even strangers seem drawn to your presence? It's because your gift is already speaking, even when your mouth is closed, even when you doubt yourself, even when you're exhausted. The gift doesn't disappear when you're tired. It just waits for you to remember. And today, this is the remembering. You're not stepping into your power, you're returning to it. This is why so many battles came before this moment. Because the enemy tries to wear down the chosen before they rise. But what he didn't know is that your silence wasn't surrender, it was preparation. Every breakdown you faced wasn't the end, it was recalibration. Every time you felt like giving up, it was just the edge of your next awakening. And now, your gifts are not dormant anymore. They're vibrating. They're calling. They're asking for one thing. Use them. Use your voice to bring truth. Use your silence to bring clarity. Use your presence to bring peace. Use your eyes to see beyond appearances. Use your energy to realign spaces. Use your pain to bring healing. Use your life to open doors for others. You don't need the world's approval to be powerful. You just need to be faithful to your assignment. This is your time, and what you carry is needed. Not next year, not when you feel more confident, not when you finally arrive, but now, because your gifts were not given for comfort. They were given for this specific spiritual moment on earth. You are a carrier of divine codes. You are a walking activation. You are a mirror for others to see God again. So walk with presence. Speak with authority, listen with discernment, and never forget, the ones who carry gifts this sacred often walk alone, but never walk without purpose. The earth needs what only you can bring, and the heavens are watching, not for your perfection, but for your yes. Your gift was not meant to impress, it was meant to shift, and it already is. Now go forward. You are not waiting for the right time. You are the right time.